Okay, we are live. We are live. Hopefully, this is working. It's not giving me great camera quality. This is supposed to be a 720p camera. Mic check, 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 check. Awesome. Hey, one round left. What's up, brother? How you doing, man? What's up, brother? Okay. Looks like that. Okay. Jiu-jitsu. Oh. All right. Doing a little rolling. It's good stuff. I'm glad to see that people are doing combatives and stuff and taking that seriously. It's good. It's good fitness for one, but also it's good skill to have, right? Just waiting for some more people to pop in here. Let's see here. 3. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live stream. We are live. Okay. Just waiting for a couple more people to get in here. I'm going to go through the community post questions first, and then we'll do live Q&A in the chat for everyone that's here. I'll say that a couple of times. So, I was kind of hoping that YouTube would be a little bit better with buffing the camera quality, because this is a 720p camera I have, but whatever. Doesn't look terrible for what it is. 4. All right. Welcome. Going to be starting here. Again, I'm going to go through the community post questions first, and then we'll do some live talks and stuff. How's the mic sound, everyone? Does it sound all right? Everything okay there? Just give me a thumbs up or let me know how it sounds. Make sure everything's good. A-okay. 5x5. Awesome. Scandy, Rick Hunter, welcome. Welcome. Okay, cool. Better on mobiles than a flat screen for some. Well, yeah, it's a 720p camera, just an onboard camera on my computer. I'm just going right through the YouTube Studio. I'm not using like a third-party program or anything. Seems to be working okay, which is cool. So awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's a little grainy, like even on my end on the studio end and stuff. It's a little grainy. So I don't know. That's YouTube for you, right? But I'm okay with that. Okay, cool. Well, it is 2 after the hour, so we will start. I'm just gonna go through the community post questions first. I'll start rattling those off, and then as more people come in, maybe we'll have a little bit more engagement and stuff, and people can ask questions. So let me get through those first, and then we'll go from there. So sound good to everyone? Today, Psychroptic shirt. Anyone that knows that band, it's a grooving technical death metal band from Tasmania. That is the rep for today. I like this one. I got it off of was it either indie merch or night shift merch? One of the two. Like the Cthulhu on there. It's pretty sweet. I don't know. Good band. My favorite album of theirs is Observant. Go check it out, people. It's, I wouldn't say a classic at this point, but it's getting there. It's a good staple. They're a unique band because their guitar player, Joe Haley, and then his brother Dave Haley is the drummer. Joe Haley has a really cool style of playing because he does like some figure style stuff for death metal is fairly unique, which is cool. So Psychroptic, go check them out. Good band. All right. We'll get through the questions here in the community post that I put up, and then I will do Q&A with the chat and everything. So let's see. Just start from the first post and go through all those comments. So first one is a multi-point thing from ACR Protect. Brother, I don't know if you'll come in at some point, or maybe I'll catch you after if you watch this. Thanks for the questions. Q&A is pretty damn fun. Yeah, I agree. They are fun. First question. What's your favorite MRE meal? Oh, man. So the menu set that I had when I was in the Army is an older one. It was like the 03, 04, 05, and then 06, 07, 08. So there's only like one or two menu brackets in that there with some minor changes. They had some really good MREs, man. Like spaghetti and meatballs was good. It tasted just like Chef Boyardee. The meatloaf was good. Cheese tortellini was good. The Spanish rice was pretty good. You add Tabasco to that because we still had Tabasco in our MRE accessory packs back then, along with like the black pepper and stuff. And they came with like a protein bar. It was basically a power bar, like the OG power bar, the like flat, kind of oily, kind of tough, chewy ones. The chocolate ones were good in my opinion. Had M&Ms and Skittles in them and stuff. A bunch of those were good. I liked the meatloaf. The beef stew was really good. It tasted just like Dinty Moore beef stew. It was really good. There was a few MREs from that menu set that I had consistently that were really good, so I never had any issues. Obviously, we had the Vomlet, the breakfast omelet that was to be avoided at all costs. But other than that, it was a good menu set. So there was really good MREs in there. I liked them all for the most part. So no complaints there. And ate those quite often and cold most of the time. People are like, oh, BS, you never heated them. No, even in infantry OSIT, I can only remember 2 times where we actually got to heat our MREs up. We ate them cold most of the time. So there's that too. And even, in the field and stuff, most of the time we were eating them cold, and we would strip them down and just take components out of them. I mean, you had lemon poppy seed pound cake at the time. You had a bunch of other stuff, and we would make Ranger pudding as well, which was like the dry chocolate shake, and then you get like cocoa powder and some coffee and stuff, and you mix it all together and add water and turn it into like a pudding, so it was like a super sugary, super caffeinated, a little bit of protein pudding for on the go and stuff. And then of course peanut butter, ate a lot of peanut butter, and then the jalapeno cheese spread was, as always, good. Second question. What are your thoughts on utilizing drones for preparedness / Minuteman ops? They're useful. They're very useful. They can be a gift and a curse at the same time because you have a drone that can be tracked back to your location. But they're very useful for Overwatch and for area reconnaissance and things like that too. They're a useful tool. So if you can afford it and use one proficiently, I mean, drones can be a very useful asset, especially nowadays. We're seeing how they're being used, and very useful, that's for sure. Third question. If you could travel back in time and come back, what would you specifically like to go see from the past? Man, I'm a big history buff. I mean, there's several periods in time that I would love to go back to. Albeit all of the craziness and the hardships that could come with it too. Like I would love to go back to like the early Iron Age. That would be really cool. Medieval period would be really cool too, just to see what's going on. I would also love to go back in time to 1775, 1776, see the founding of our nation. That would be really cool too, honestly. Some interesting characters back then, Thomas Jefferson and Ben Franklin and all them. Like that would be really cool to see. Other periods of time, I mean, as hellish as it was, I mean, World War II, World War I would honestly be interesting. The African Bush Wars, the Congo, Rhodesia, Zimbabwe, South Africa, like all that. That would be really cool, interesting time as well. Yeah, there's a lot of different periods in time that I would love to go back and see with my own eyes. Yeah, that's several, but just to name a few. So thanks for the questions, man. Great questions. Okay. Tabasco was gone in 2011 and was in 2010. Don't remember. Oh man. Okay. Thanks. One round left. Yeah, I heard about them getting rid of it a while back. Because like after like I was out by that time because I got out in 08, and then like contracting, we would have MREs from time to time, and but we always just like had our own bottle of hot sauce or whatever with us. So tuna packs were a godsend too. You get those at the in the in the green zone major bases like PXs and stuff, like things like that. It was cool. Yeah, signing a declaration would be awesome to see back in time. That would be sick. Okay. Next question. Fatty Westside. What's up, brother? Thanks for the questions. SHTF has hit so close to home, you're forced to bug out, and there's a high probability you won't be back. What rig are you taking? My long-term LRP sustainment ruck, because it can fit a lot in it, and I can fit a lot of food and water for sustainment in there too, apart from like ammo and stuff and everything else, shelter, spare clothing, all the things. For that ruck, I have it packed in. I've done a video on it in such a way where I do have a lot of extra socks and skivvies and stuff, so I'm not gonna like be doing without for a long period of time, as well as spare uniforms, a wool blend commando sweater, some things like that, apart from shelter, fire, multiple fire starting things, binos, you name it, it's in there. A lot of cordage, other spare items, things like that, water purification in several forms, medical, all that stuff is in there. So that's what I would grab, apart from a couple of other spare extra bags, because I would load my truck up with whatever I could, and then head out from there and get to where I'm going, because I already have contingencies in place, several concentric rings of contingency based on various situations, and with the need, if there is, to move further out into the sticks if I have to. And then of course, grabbing a couple of my tools and stuff, and all the ammo to boot, and going. So that's kind of what I have planned with that. I'm not going to get into too many details because I don't want to compromise some of my my SOPs and other OPSEC and things like that with my plans and stuff. But that's the general template of that, so to speak, if that makes sense. Oh, you had another question. So, what do you miss most about Iraq, and what do you miss least? There's a lot that I don't miss, namely the heat, poor, sanitation and things like that, obviously, and a large number of things that I don't miss. What do I miss? Doing the job. In that theater was doing the job and working with some really squared away dudes, because there's that disparity of dudes who are not squared away with the forces that we work with and stuff, as far as the Iraqis go. There's also quite a few who were really squared away and are well-trained warfighters. Golden Swords, for example, really well-trained guys and can hold their own, obviously, as we've seen with them fighting off Daesh or ISIS, and just proficient fighters. So we accomplished a lot more, I think, there than we did in Afghanistan. Other than that, there's a lot that I don't miss. So it just kind of is what it is with the territory with that. But would I go back and work again? Yeah, absolutely. But there's other areas and theaters that I kind of have my eye on for work in the future, and any potentials there. So when it comes to contracting and stuff. So thanks for the questions, man. Appreciate you. Let's see. Tom Bonner. Next question. Do you believe that America military personnel will at some point be deployed to Ukraine? First off, we already have a small contingent of special operations people there as advisors. We also have the private sector is there as well. I can't really get into details with some of that, but in small capacities, they are there, working insofar as working with the Ukrainian government. Private security is there as well. Private sector entities are there as well, working with private clients in Ukraine as well. And some aid groups and things like that. There's also private companies that set up aid stations and stuff, and triage centers and stuff, and help train medical personnel and stuff. So there's a lot behind the curtain, so to speak, that's being done. Do you believe that Ukraine or any of the conflicts that stem from it will open a new market for America security contractors? Well, kind of answering that question already. There's already some involvement there, apart from the defense contractors that are making the weapons and the vehicles and things like that, that are provisional to Ukraine and other countries. It's a big market, and it's going to keep expanding. Wartime economy is massive economy, as we saw with the GWOT and even now with current conflicts going on, and not just Ukraine. There's already stuff, behind the scenes going on. As far as like large military mobilization in Ukraine, I don't think that would be a thing unless actual war was declared. It would have to take Article 5 NATO or a U.S. declaration or something for that to for that kind of thing to be feasible. We've trained with the Ukrainians in the past quite a bit, even right before and during 2014, 2015 with the separatist situation that's been continuing. We've been training with them on and off anyway. And we're pulling Ukrainians to train them on the vehicles that we're providing them, Bradleys, tanks, soon to be F-16s, and things like that, HIMARS and all that stuff. So there's already that kind of partnership that's been there. But there's stuff going on behind the scenes that people may not know about, or they do, but maybe not to a certain extent or whatever. But there's stuff going on. I will get to your question in a second, Hershey. Thank you. That's a good question. I'll answer that here in a second. I'm getting through the community post comments first, questions first, and then I will do all of the chat questions. So bear with me here. Hopefully that answers your question, Tom. Thank you. It was a good question. Palatine just says classic Conan the Barbarian, the meme for the community post. Yes, love that movie. The OG. Next question. Asymmetrical athlete, brother. Fellow veteran contractor brother, former LEO. Go check out his channel, Asymmetrical Athlete. He does awesome stuff. He also builds Atlas stones for anyone interested in fitness and strongman and weightlifting and stuff. He's a very fit guy, and is very knowledgeable with his videos. Mostly long form, which is what I prefer. He's a friend. Really good dude. Go check his channel out, Asymmetrical Athlete. Your question, what did you blow all your contracting money on, and why are we all broke? Dude, yeah. So a lot of my contracts were actually fairly short term, so I didn't make as much money as some other guys who had multi-year extended contracts. Part of the time I was subcontracting, and then part of the time I was directly working for several companies. So I didn't make as much money because I wasn't there as much, but paying rent, paying bills, doing some traveling, partying, hanging out with people on and off, made some investments, but some of those didn't pan out. And when I got out of the Army in 08, the housing crisis and the bubble popped and everything, I lost quite a bit of stock then. And one of the energy companies I had invested stock in went bankrupt. So lost it. But yeah, I was smart and put a little bit away just to help cushion myself through time. And then I did that again when I went back to college too. I put a little bit away where I could and stuff, and then went back to contracting after. And, just being smart financially is such an important thing. But yeah, a lot of us blew it. We wanted that new vehicle or the new shiny thing, or wanted to take trips. And, I'm not married, but if you get married, hey, guess what? A lot of money is going not only to your wedding, but it's going to your other half, right? And then when you have kids and stuff, I mean, it's not cheap to raise kids anymore. I know what those costs are like, and I'm kind of like that cool uncle for a lot of my family, or like my friends and stuff. I'm like the cool uncle kind of thing, So just doing stuff like that, and then buying stuff that I want, and things like that. I wouldn't say that I'm minimalist in what I own now, but like the things I do own are nice for the most part. Um, Things like that. Although my truck is a little bit older, but I bought it for specific reasons, mostly reliability, but otherwise, I digress. It's a good question, and we all know the answers, but at the same time, it goes fast, man, especially when there's gaps in deployments and things like that, or you're traveling a lot or whatever, it goes fast. So, at least for me anyway, but love you, bro. That's a great question. Great comment too. Um, let's see here. Necrotic Warfare, new to the channel. Hails, brother. Freaking. I like the stuff you're doing. Keep shredding. Let me know. Also, leave a comment below after this video is done. Leave a comment. Let me know what bands are you in and stuff. I want to check them out. As some people may know, I play in like 10, 11 active bands right now, and I'm always working on other projects, doing collaborations, cameos, appearances. I also work on the graphic design side, doing band logos, album artwork, things like that too. His question: favorite Decoherence song to play. So for anyone that doesn't know, Decoherence is like the main, like big, most well-known band I'm in. We're signed to Sentient Ruin Laboratories, which is a label out of California, and we work with major metal labels for distribution like Season of Mist. I'm the US member in that band. The other two members in that project are in the UK. So to answer your question, favorite Decoherence song to play, we don't rehearse or anything. We just make new music to release in singles, EPs, splits, and albums and stuff. Because we do live in separate countries across the ocean, obviously it's very expensive and difficult to be able to get together and work logistically to work on like a set list to play live. I don't know if we'll ever perform live. If we do, and I've talked to them about this, the other members, Stroda and Pryor. I'm the vocalist in that band, so I don't have any, besides some sampling, like I don't have any instrumentation involvement in the project. I do some sampling, but mostly I'm the vocal guy, vocals and lyrics, and throat singing, things like that. So I don't really have a hand in instrument playing wise or anything like that, and we don't do any rehearsing. If we were to do like again, talking to them, if we were to do like a festival, it would have to be something like Hellfest in France or Roadburn, or a major multi-day metal festival, like kind of an exclusive thing. Just again, it's just not possible to make a consistent thing out of touring or anything, because we live in different countries and stuff, and it's mainly a studio project. But if the opportunity were to arise, I mean, we could use a computer for a drummer. We would have to otherwise hire a live session drummer, get him up to snuff on drums for certain songs, and things like that. And even at that, I don't know, like maybe even live, it may even end up being kind of like a ad hoc kind of thing. Like we may do a completely independent, not actual material that we've released kind of performance too. Possibly. I don't know. It's not really in the books right now. We had talked about it, but not something that is planned in any way at this time. We just plan on working on more material. We're working on an EP right now that's probably also going to get released by Sentient Ruin. Cat over there being a goof. Another EP, our third/fourth full-length album, Order, was just released with Sentient Ruin. Go check it out, folks. we're working on an EP that is probably going to get released with Sentient Ruin too, because we've been independently releasing like EPs and stuff in the past. But yeah, as far as live or like songs to like rehearse, we don't. And we don't have any plans as of right now for performing live. If it were to be live, it would have to be a very exclusive kind of thing, almost a one-off, possibly. So hopefully that answers your question. Thanks for being around, man. Appreciate you. And yeah, there will be more Dead Coherence coming at some point, apart from all the other projects that I'm in. So actually, I think that's it for the community post questions. So we'll round it off there. Yeah, good stuff. So now we can get to questions in the chat. So thanks again for everyone that was sticking with it and humoring me for getting through those questions and stuff. They were great questions as always. Thank you to everyone. Okay. Let's interact with the chat here. We got about 6 people in the chat right now, or 6 people viewing. Get some more chat interaction because I'll be talking directly with you guys here, guys and gals. So let's see here. Hershey Rose, your question. Thanks for tuning in, by the way. Your question. Do you think the Ruger SFAR and POF Patriot Ordnance Revolution are the next step for the AR-10? Should they be the new standard for AR-10? I mean, they really are just AR-10s, really. I like POF because piston gang. I love my piston guns. And Ruger did it before with the SR-762, which is a short stroke piston 762, which they discontinued at the same time as the SR-556. I have an SR-556, and I love that gun. Dead nuts reliable, super robust. POF, Patriot Ordnance, they're super robust, man. I know people have seen the burn down videos out there for like the POF, like the 415 Edge and stuff that Iraq Veteran 8888 did. And whatnot. They're super reliable platforms, and I think they're a good route to go for an AR-10 type platform that's got some changes to it and some, I guess, improvements in some ways. 308's the way, man. 308's I love that cartridge, and it's stood the test of time and is a extremely reliable and powerful cartridge. So, you know, it's a good platform. They're good platforms. I haven't got my hands on the SFAR yet, but I kind of wish Ruger would have stuck with the SR-762. It was a great platform, but I've heard good things about the SFAR, so yeah, why not? I think they're good. I think they're good platforms to keep carrying the torch for the AR-10 and 308 platform. So more to the dimensions changes and lightening up the platform. Yeah, I mean, you can only lighten a 308 so much before it's a problem. But yeah, they're good platforms, and they're well made, so they're good to go. One round left. History and politics aside, what do you think about Fort Benning being renamed Fort Moore? It's always going to be Benning to me. I was a Benning baby. I went to infantry OSET on Fort Benning, and then I was in the 3rd Infantry Division at Fort Benning. 130 for anyone who's out there that might have been in 130. You know, Kelly Hill, Rock Steady, Rock of the Marne, baby. It's always going to be Benning to me. I mean, Fort Moore is a good name. Hal Moore was a badass and an icon in military history. So, I mean, I think it's a nice tribute to him, but I don't think it necessarily should have had to have been renamed. There are 40, 50, 60 generational years of people still alive that have gone through Fort Benning and are still going to know it as Fort Benning. That's not going to change. So until we're all dead, it's going to be Fort Benning to a lot of people still. So I just think it was changed for the wrong reasons. And I don't know. I know it's a touchy thing for some people, but I don't think it should have been changed. There wasn't a need for it because, looking at those, from going to a historical view on it real quick. I mean, looking at those generals and stuff. I mean, those brilliant tacticians, you have to respect the acumen there. You know, you don't have to respect them for who they were with or whatever. I don't really care about any of that. But as far as brilliant minds go and making a name for themselves as good leaders and tacticians and stuff, there's merit to that. So, but I think renaming it was probably. I don't think the time was right for it, especially with all the woke BS going on. That's just me. Fort Moore is a cool name though, so I think Halmore was a good name. When they did the open submission or whatever for people to recommend names, I actually recommended Fort. I put in there. It was like I don't think you should change it, but if you're hell bent on changing it, maybe Fort Benavides. For those that know Roy Benavides, Medal of Honor recipient, he would have been a good choice too. But Moore's good for what it is. I mean, again, I don't think it should have been changed, but whatever. Said and done now, unfortunately. See, Rick Hunter. Small frame AR-10 seems great, but it's kind of concerning about what parts availability will be in the future. That's the thing, like especially with like piston systems, it's proprietary stuff, you know, so that does make it difficult. But if you're smart and buy a couple of extra BCGs and stuff, like you shouldn't really have any issues because a lot of stuff, everything in the lower and the barrels and stuff, they're all the same as everything else. So it's just some of the proprietary parts you just need to get. Parts availability otherwise is as long as they don't discontinue them or the company doesn't go belly up or whatever, I mean, you're going to have that stuff there. So I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue besides when it is and stuff gets continued like the SR556 like I've got. So yeah, that kind of thing. Facts. Shouldn't be so touchy. It's history. Exactly. You know, the erasing history is a very dangerous thing to do. And should not be done. History is history, and you need to educate yourself on it, and you need to learn from it. You know, that's what it is. And it's like with the whole statues and all that too. Like that was just dumb. Like history, man. Facts. Yeah, that's for sure. All right, so. Anyone else gonna keep laying the questions out? Keep putting them in the chat. You know, freaking lay them on me. I really enjoy engaging with people. For again, first live stream, so celebration here. Awesome. And again, Psychroptic is the shirt of the day. Great band. Yeah, freaking keep laying out questions. Another one from Hershey. Would you be open to the 762x51 NATO getting an upgrade? What would those upgrades be for you? It's a great cartridge. It's tried and true. It's tested its metal time and time again, and it's still a very, very capable cartridge. With like the NGSW program, and we talked about this, I think, in the Discord, in the Reconnoiters Discord. I think you could do, instead of going 6.8x51, you could do 7.62x51 in a higher pressure cartridge, like a hybrid cartridge. That's completely feasible. I think that would have been the way to go. It would have reduced a lot of the money that was getting thrown out there for the NGSW program. And you could basically take off the shelf systems and improve the chamber and barrel build and stuff on those systems, and solid. You'd be good to go. You'd save a lot of money. I'm also all for the modernization we're seeing of like the FAL and stuff because I'm an FAL fanboy too. It's still a great cartridge, and I think it should be utilized to its fullest extent. And I think making a higher pressure, much higher velocity cartridge out of it is feasible and could be done even much easier than going to one of these boutique cartridges that you're seeing come out. 6.8x51, the Lick, even 6.8 SPC and some of those that were 6.8 SPC was being tested even way back in the early GOI, like when I was still in the Army and stuff, and getting out and going into contracting like 08 and stuff. So I think 308 762x51 is still the way to go. And I think just doing a NGSW modification, alteration to that cartridge and platforms for it, I think would have been a lot smarter way to go, and would be cost conducive too. So. Personally, wouldn't mind a hybrid case. Yeah, exactly. Hybrid case would be fine. Lose barrel. Yeah, you wouldn't necessarily even lose barrel life. You just run heavy barrels and stuff, and you'd be fine. And anyone out there complaining about weapon weight, shut up. I ran an M16A4 with an M203, and then we had PEC 2, and then I got an ACOG on the thing. It was a 12-pound, easily a 12-pound rifle by the time all was said and done for a 5.56 combat rifle. My FAL weighs less than that. Granted, it's bone stock. I could replace the dust cover, put a rail cover on it, put an optic on it, but it'd still only be 9.5 pounds loaded. That's fine. My Zastava ZPAP M70 AK, still again bone stock, but 8-pound rifle loaded. Whatever, A heavy rifle should not be an issue for people. Go work out. Go train. Let's see. One round left. What electronic ear pro do you prefer? Walkers. Yeah, Walkers for me, honestly. Yeah, the model with the where you can get the comms hookup and stuff. Like they're slimline, so they'll fit under ACHs and PSGTs, which I still run a PSGT. It's my helmet from contracting, and great helmet. I prefer the additional side head ear protection, and they fit under it. Walkers, for the price, you can't beat them, really, honestly. Yeah, I love Walkers, so that's my answer too. Some of the slim, like contacts and stuff, are fine too. The 3M stuff is good too. Two Alpha Solutions, Jared, what's up, brother? Hey, brother, late to the party, but you made it. Yeah, welcome. First live stream for me, so celebration time. Good stuff. Glad you're here. Thanks. Rick Hunter, theoretical. What item would you remove from the NFA if you had one freebie and why? Just SBRs. There's no point in having them on the NFA. Not to mention anything, but if I had to pick just one, just SBRs in general. Yeah. There's no point in having them on there. And it's stupid reasons and politics in the first place that that SBRs even got put on there. The NFA was supposed to be temporary anyway. It was supposed to have basically dissolved in the 30s, right before World War II started, because it was only meant for a period of time to combat the Capone gangsters and all that stuff during that time. And Congress got a wild hair up their butt and decided to extend it, which was dumb. So, but yeah, SBRs, just in general, SBRs. Now, with just SBRs, giggle switch, yes, no, absolutely. But if you're relegating me to just one, it's just going to be the SBR thing. Let's see. Hershey agreed, but how much higher pressure do you think they could would be necessary for 7.62 NATO? Honestly, not much, because I mean it's already running it's running on the higher end anyway to like between I think 56 and 58, maybe 60 for like really hot stuff. You wouldn't have to go much higher, honestly. You could maybe go 65, 70, which is still less than what the 68x51 is. And it would be a freaking laser beam out to a mile, no problem, easily. Not that you can't already reach out with a 308 or 7.62 NATO to a mile, because you absolutely can. But just for that extra spice, right? It wouldn't take much, honestly. Eddie Hershey, I'd prefer 7.62 NATO over the new 277 Fury. Yeah, absolutely. It's not leaps and bounds better. It's not. Having to design a whole new gun and everything, and then a whole new cartridge just for one boutique cartridge, which again, 277 Fury, the training cartridge, is standard brass case cartridge, which performs worse than 308. It's the combat hybrid cartridge that's the high pressure cartridge that they need the M7 or 6 spear, whatever you want to call it, to run it. and then whatever other guns, the companies, I know Beretta, and then I think one or two other companies had a submission for testing and trials and contract bid and everything for that. Kind of ridiculous to build a whole new rifle for that boutique cartridge, which is only half of the time going to be a combat cartridge. The rest of the time, the training ammo, again, standard brass case, performs worse than 308. Doesn't make sense. Rick Hunter, all new laws should have a sunset built in. 100%. If it helps the population, it shouldn't be hard to vote back. We need to end dumb laws hanging out forever. Same for politicians. Absolutely. Term limits and age limits for all politicians. All politicians. And we should be limiting new laws. I mean, at this point, not that, I mean, we should be getting rid of the NFA, the GCA, all of them. We should be getting rid of all of them. But apart from that, like any new laws, they shouldn't be in that realm. They shouldn't be in the 2A realm. It should be dealing with cyber fraud. And you're seeing all these people have all these elderly people being scammed and having their identities stolen, like all that. Like, we need to focus on that stuff. Human trafficking. We need to focus on the border. We need to focus on other general diplomatic and geopolitical aspects. Like, there are so many other things that are being ignored, brushed under the rug, whatever right now, that are the problem. 2A is not. And 100% agree with you on that, man. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, term limits and age limits. I think anybody who's who's at or over retirement age, I mean, they're stuck in their ways in a lot of ways, and they're already getting their pension. They don't have much teeth in the game anymore, not to mention any other cognition or otherwise issues that they may have that we're seeing with people. Also, I think there should be a requirement that for people to go into certain aspects of politics, they should probably know something about, especially for like committees specifically, they should know something about that aspect of that committee. They should know something. National Defense Committee, hey, you should probably have served in the military or the agency or something to understand how things actually work in the real world. Same goes for any firearms committees or anything. Hey, you should probably know something about firearms. That's why I think like Brandon Herrera doing what he's doing is a really good move, because he's going to call out all of the idiots that know nothing about what they're talking about and actually fix stuff. And that goes for other people that are coming into the game too. As much as campaigning and voting and stuff is important for the people's process for bringing the right people into government, as limited as it should be, sometimes the person begging for the job and begging for your vote is a problem, and they should not be running. I would rather find somebody who's actually qualified for the job and not somebody begging for it in large. But again, it's very circumstantial. There's a lot of nuances to that. Let's see here. Kill Joyful, thanks for tuning in. Your question: any fieldcraft skills you're looking at learning or improving? I was never a comms guy, so I've been working more on my comms and stuff, my comm stuff. As far as like fieldcraft, bushcraft, and things like that, like, I mean, I was in the Army Infantry for 4 years, and I've been a contractor for 15. And I train constantly, apart from continually doing the job. So I've got a lot of teeth in the game there. It's my wheelhouse. So, I mean, there's always something to learn, whether it's one little thing like, oh, hey, there's this little thing you can do with cordage to hang your pack up on a tree that you didn't know before, or some little thing like that. Like, yeah, there's always little things that you could be learning. But other than that, for me personally, it's comms, because I wasn't a commo guy. And back in our time in the military, and I think One Round Left might know this a little bit. You came a little bit after me, but we're still using the Cigars radios. Okay. So we had one commo guy, on our fire team had a giant radio on his back, the Cigars. And then that's what we had in our Humvees for a long time, before they started putting the new systems in. Embitters didn't come along for line unit people long after, until I was out. In contracting, we have those and stuff, but yeah, it was quite different. So getting up to snuff with these guys, that's what I'm working on right now for me personally. So, but good question. Thank you. Let's see. Hershey, 20th Amendment. Yes, absolutely. Brandon Herrera for Gunsar. Hey, I mean, I kind of wish you would get some more rifles available on the AK Guy Manufacturing Incorporated or LLC or whatever. I wish you would get some more on there, because I would love to buy one of his units. I also got one of my buddies here locally. He's a class 7 FFL and a class 2 SOT, so he can do machine guns and stuff. So I've been working with him a little bit, and I may end up working for his company part-time too, Raoul Wolf Machine Works LLC. But he's done some cool stuff already. He's already got like HK trigger pack for his C308 and his PTR 91 and stuff, and then he's done a conversion to Zosfa ZPAP M70 AK and stuff. So yeah, there's some cool stuff going on. So a lot of those, it's really cool that a lot of those guys are doing what they're doing. So, and I him being a Gunsar, I think he should definitely be one of the heads for any firearms committee if he gets into Congress. Absolutely. Yeah. Lost a couple people. That's unfortunate. Still got 6 people in here. Come on, more questions. Let's go. I'll answer just about anything as best I can. So keep going at it here. 47-ish minutes in. Sweet. Very cool. Very, very cool. All right. How do you feel about Faxon gunner barrels? I've heard good things about them. I kind of wanted to get one of their AR 21s, the AR AK 21s. I kind of wanted to get one a while back. They're doing some cool stuff. I've heard good things about their gunner barrels. So I know they're cold hammer forged, made in the USA. So for all intents and purposes, as far as I know, they're good to go. So, I mean, probably worth picking up if they're available, because I know a lot of their stuff is out of stock right now. I think they do some contracted manufacturing services for a couple other companies too. So, but heard good things. So I think they're good to go. It's a good question. What else? Let's go. It is hitting autumn here, by the way, starting to cool off out. I think we're supposed to get one more kind of warm stretch next week, but it's pretty much going to be cooling off after that, which I'm looking forward to, because you get all the color change in the leaves and everything, and it's just very comfortable outside. It's good training weather. Everyone, autumn, great training weather. And then winter will hit. And then I'm hoping to get down to Winter Forge, which is the winter warfare course hosted by, put on by SNS Training Solutions at the One Shepherd Leadership Institute's Combat Maneuver Training Center grounds in the Ozarks of the Missouri, in the Ozarks of the state of Missouri, Ullman, Missouri. If anyone wants to attend that winter warfare course, go to SNS Training Solutions, their website. It's under their, I believe it's under their light fighter program. They have a couple of different training course options, but Winter Warfare is in. Winter Forge is in there. Really good course. I went there. So not this last winter, but the winter before I went there, and it was good. It was real good. It's not as I'm in like the edge of the subarctic zone, so it gets much colder here. But that intermediate cold there and being wet and stuff, like it's really good training for a lot of people, and just something to experience. Especially if you don't deal with winter a lot, if you find embracing the suck to an extent enjoyable, especially in a training application, worth going to, especially for the price. Let's see. Hershey Rose, if suppressors were deregulated, what do you think the fair market price should be for your average 5.56 can? Try to keep it up and tell the algorithm you need more views. Yeah, I have no intention of taking this down or anything. I'm not sure what you mean by that bit, but for the algorithm, make sure you leave a comment after and everything. But I mean, share it around, whatever. As long as I'm live, I mean, share it in. If you're in a Discord group, share it if wherever, you know. So if suppressors were deregulated, what do you think their fair market price should be for your average 5.56 can? I mean, you get different lengths, you have different designs, but like the average can, I mean, there's a fair bit of machining that goes into them. So, I mean, probably relative to a price of, say, a General AR lower. So, somewhere between, maybe 150, $200. I think that's fairly fair. Yeah, I think that's fairly fair. Yeah, I think that's fair. 200 to 350. Yeah, I mean, I could see that too. You know, I think that's relatively reasonable, especially, you know, offset of materials cost, especially right now with BS inflation and everything. It's stupid. Use cheaper materials and replace more often. You could do that, but I mean, you don't want cans to be a consumable per se, unless that's your intent with a design. I mean, quality materials and to just maintain it and clean it and everything. I mean, they can last quite a while. I think it's probably maybe between 150 and 350 depending on what type it is. I think that's fair. 200 probably the average. Let's see. Favorite workout routine. I do not have a gym membership. I go out into the woods and work out. Apart from training, I love rucking and hiking. I do that as much as I can, based on, as work permits and stuff, rucking and hiking. But I go out in the woods, and my buddy lives in a cabin, so I help him with tree maintenance, cutting up wood and stuff, with an axe and things like that. Log PT, we're picking up heavy logs and stuff. Lifting heavy things out there, picking up big rocks and stuff. Doing pull-ups. You can find a low-hanging stable tree branch and do pull-ups on that. You can make your own home gym, a couple of 2x4s and some metal piping. You have a home gym. I'm much more of a proponent for that with practical fitness, while still doing a mix of endurance and strength. I'm much more of an endurance guy though, so I do a lot of endurance training, and then obviously your weapons training and stuff. That's endurance training. Make good long day sessions out of training and stuff, running your kit and everything, and doing hikes and rocks, just like all that stuff. When it comes to like cardio and things like that, I hate distance running, and I ran track and field way back in the day. It never fails. Like a mile and a half, 2 miles in, I always get a stitch in my side. Like never fails. I hate distance running. I'm much more of a sprinter. Army, it was a big because I ran A group. So for those that don't know, in the military, like you have A, B, C, D run groups. A is your fastest time. Once you're in A is the fastest times. Once you're in A group, you can't move back. So you're always pushing yourself in the 2 mile runs and stuff, which is the suck. And the standard for like airborne and special operations is 5 miles in 45 minutes, 5 and 45. I ran an 8K not terribly long ago, and I ran it with just like a Camelback Mule Gen 1, like 10 pounds on. And I ran that in like 55:08. It was like 5.6 miles roughly in like 55:08. So not bad. But most of my running though is graduated sprints. 25 25, 50 50, 100 100, 100 200 200, 400 400. That's generally how I do it, because typical farm field can be up to about, from tree line to tree line can be up to 400 meters. Think about that. Movement from place to place is generally, if you're going to do a run, it's probably about somewhere between 100 and 400 meters on average. So I kind of do that, and I'll do that repetitively, and sometimes I'll incorporate uphill into it, kind of like with Grunt Proof Randall has talked about. So I kind of do that too. Other than that, yeah, just doing stuff out in the woods, working and picking heavy things up, and then doing a lot of it, like doing your endurance training, like practical workouts and implemented training for fitness is what I do. Let's see, Hershey. So maybe a SOCOM 2, $600, Yankee Hill, $200, Griffin Recce, $350. Yeah, you know, I mean, those are SOCOM 2 for 600 is a little. That's a little. I feel like it's a little high, but I mean, yeah, something like that. Before the tax, suppressors cost hundreds, 20 to 160. Inflation adjustment done $7 back then for by your name. Thank you for the comment. Yeah, that's what I've heard. You know, I like the Slovenian model. Hey, just go buy a suppressor. No frills. That's how it should be. Again, repeal the NFA and everything else, GCA and all that. It's all crap. Hershey Rose, have you ever looked into knees over toes guy, Ben Patrick? I've seen some of his stuff. He seems to have the best method for training knees to keep them from damage and recovery. Same with lower back, hips, and shoulders. He's got some good stuff. There's a bunch of good workouts out there that you can do. But you know, a lot of it is you have to be full spectrum with your workouts, but there are some things that are inevitable that you're going to be doing all the time. You're going to be walking or moving around most of the time, right? You know, you're going to be, you know, in a technical or training application or whatever, you're going to have weight on, or whether it's, you know, a ruck on your back, you know, your chest rig, your LBV, your flick, taps, plate carrier, whatever, LBE, LBV, you know, whatever. You're going to have that on. So you have to work with that. You know, you've got to do movement and stuff. So you gotta build up some strong legs. Knee stuff. I mean, again, with like log PT and stuff like I do, and then with people doing, you know, squats and things like that, like I do some of that, but I don't overdo it because I need my knees, right? So you don't overdo it because you're going to be doing a lot of practical application stuff anyway. So that's what you should be focusing on. Do the other stuff, but make sure you're not overdoing it. You know, it's all good things in moderation, right? So that's kind of my mentality with it anyway. Let's see. What else you guys got? What else? Drink of today is a little liquid death. The mango chainsaw sparkling water is my jam. What else you got, peeps? A couple more people came in. Welcome. More questions. Throw them in the chat. Throw them in there. I do have slow chat on. It's only a 10-second delay, but it's just so keeps some of the spammers and bots away. But yeah, freaking welcome to the new people. My first live stream ever. Q&A and 9. I went through the community post questions already, so now just interacting with y'all in the chat. So throw a comment out there. Comment, question, a joke, whatever. I'll keep going. So we're at an hour right now, so I'll keep going for at least another 30 minutes to another hour. I don't really have anything going on. I'll be making supper later, whatever. Not a big deal. So make some chow after we're done here. But yeah, freaking throw a question in the chat. It's been a little chilly out here today. Feels good though. Autumn and winter are my favorite seasons, by the way. I've had enough of hot weather. Nothing, huh? Oh, Stuart, bro, where the hell have you been, man? I'm glad you came in. It's good to hear from you, dude. You've been radio silent for a while, man. Listening while doing stuff. Well, thanks for tuning in, man. Glad you popped in. I'm glad you're doing okay. You're still alive and here with us. Hadn't seen you post anything for a while, and hadn't really seen you in other channels comments or anything. So I'm glad you're here. Thanks for tuning in. Nobody else has got burned out of it all. I don't blame you. It's like I'll usually go on these spats where I'll make like a bunch of videos at one time, like over a span of a couple of days, and schedule them out, because I usually do like 1 to 2 videos a week. I'll schedule them out, and then I focus on doing my other stuff, you know. So I don't blame you one bit, man. Moderation, right? Moderation. What's the number one skill you learned during your service? How did it affect your life? Ooh, that's actually a really good question. I think just resiliency. Just having mental and physical toughness and that fortitude and resiliency. Seeing the resiliency of people, but also learning resiliency. I had already been ingrained with a pretty good work ethic from my family and stuff, and I was working at an early age, and through high school, most of high school, I worked 2 jobs. So I always had that ethic there, but resiliency was a big one for the military and contracting. Just being able to endure and deal with tough times, and just having the fortitude to get things done at times when you really don't want to do them, you know, things like that. Like, I think resiliency and fortitude is a really good one. That's definitely a quality people need to gain and maintain in their lives, I think. It's a good question, Rick. Thank you. Hershey, what caliber do you think citizens should have as a long range engagements? Do you think citizens should even take those shots, or moving in closer to take higher chance engagements in Teotihuacan? 308. You know, anything that's shooter preference. As situation and environment dictates, right? METTC, right? You don't necessarily want to get closer. If it's safe to take that shot and you know you can make that shot, do it. It comes down to comes down to individual ability and capability, not just in the platform that they're running, but themselves as well to be able to accomplish that. Because a lot of people say things like, oh, I'm a hunter and blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, most hunters aren't taking a shot past 250 yards, and they're using a scope to do it. In the Army, we shoot out to 500 with iron sights, and then the M68 CCO, which is just a red dot, it's not magnified, and then ACOG and things like that. You're taking 800 plus yard meter shots. Obviously you have to use glass for that, but you really have to be in your game as a shooter to be able to make that shot. If it's viable to do so and the environment and situation permits, absolutely. If you need to get a little closer, just don't get caught. learn those recon skills. Learn seer skills a little bit too. Anytime you want me to stop, just no, dude. Great questions, Hershey. They're good questions. I appreciate good questions like that. Hopefully the answers are sufficient and conducive as well. They're good. I appreciate them. No, it's freaking yeah. Keep laying them out, and that goes for everyone. We're down to 6 viewers now. People coming in and out. That's okay. I mean, keep laying them out. You got more questions. Keep laying them out. I appreciate all the viewer and chat engagement too. So even for a small amount of viewership, that's fine. It's I would consider this being successful so far. So oh yeah, no, for sure. They are good answers. Thanks. I do my best. I won't make feel like they shouldn't ask. No, that's fine. Yeah, again, any questions, man, from anyone, any questions, come on, throw them out. It doesn't have to be about a certain topic either. It could be about anything, I like the tactical topics. I like that stuff, but I'm much like my channel. I don't pigeonhole myself. So I'm a big music guy. I'm a big proponent for, a lot of things. I like a lot of things. I paint, I do graphic design. I do all kinds of stuff. So you're going to steal Palatine's comment real quick. Okay. Fair enough. I do some comedy stuff. I've done a short film. I might do some more of those in the future. I have a lot of authentic recreation, like Viking. Like you can see my spear over there, which I've done a video on. Like Viking apparel and things like that. I might do a short film about that at some point. I always have music projects going on too and stuff. And Scandy, thoughts on the Wisco? It's much nicer after they renovated it a couple of years ago. I mean, it's not a big venue, obviously, but the shows are fun there. I like how personal those shows are. Things I don't like, obviously there's some interesting individuals that come in there, things like that. And there's a little bit of substance use that I've seen at some shows that I don't really think is appropriate to be there. But that's just me. Other than that, I mean, it's a fun little venue. It is. I've seen some great shows there. Being that the Wisco, were you there for the Azagram show? Because they played in Milwaukee with Cultus Profano, and then they came to Madison and played an impromptu show at the Wisco. I think it was back in March, maybe. That was a really good show. Great local shows. It's a fun little spot. And the drinks are fairly cheap. And they got for those that can eat them and stuff. I mean, they got good. They got good, like like the fried cheese curds and fried mushrooms and stuff. Like good, decent food. Um, I like I like the Crucible and what was Frequency, but Barley Pop Live. I like those more. I like those venues more. But Wisco's fine when you're not, you know, stuck around a bunch of buttheads, a bunch of assholes. Nah, that's fine. Usually the crowd's great there. So let's see. Hershey. Palatine has Glocks as his duty and backups. He is looking to get an MMP 2.0 as logistically it probably is second to the Glock in parts serviceability. You carry a CZP07, but am investing in having at least 2 Glock platform pistols and SIG 320s. Okay. So in contracting, I've used Glock and MMPs. They were Gen 1 MMPs too. But great pistol. Ergonomically, they're probably most comfortable pistol I've shot is an MMP. MMP 2.0s are fantastic pistols because I've shot those too. When I went to an event at Vortex, their headquarters, Vortex Optics, they have a range there called the Edge Range, and their USPSA team shooters were there for that event with us. And I got to shoot dude's tricked out MMP comp gun, and man, it was nice. It was a steel frame 2.0 too. That was a nice gun. That was a nice pistol. I like those quite a bit. I run Glocks personally. I have a Glock 22 Gen 3, MMP 40 Gen 1, and my CCW is a Glock 23 Gen 5, 40 cal guy. What can I say? But I've used both pistols professionally, and then I use them privately too, and they're both great. I would recommend either. They they just work, and easy, available parts, easy to service, like everything. Like they're just good platforms. Scandy, no, you weren't. Sounds cool. Oh, dude, it was a great show. It was a great show. I'm not going to talk about the one promotion group that had a thing happen lately. Scandy, you may know what I'm talking about. That was jacked up. But they had put up some good shows in the past too. And again, there's been a bunch of other great shows there too. Rick, should I build a technical for Teotihuacan? If so, from what? Large truck, small truck, or 4-wheeler? Yes, technical, absolutely. If you could do it, do it. Technicals are sweet. Just from my experience, it's always going to be like a smaller pickup or an SUV of some kind. With like a 4-wheeler or a side-by-side, I mean, obviously you could do it too with that. With some kind of support platform on it. That's absolutely viable because the military, uses that too. Some of the contracting gigs, we use ATVs and stuff, but it's not like we have like a support platform on it. We have, our stuff. But we would use ATVs to roll around a little bit for some locations and some jobs. Absolutely do it. But yeah, like a small pickup, like a Tacoma or like a Silverado, Ford Ranger, something like that. Or not a Silverado, a Colorado, Chevy Colorado, or like your 4Runner, Land Cruiser, Land Rover, Tahoe SUVs like that. Like those are like the epitome of technicals. Since we can't get Hiluxes here, so it's a good question though. Love me a technical, man. It's good stuff. Do it. Hershey, do you think a prepared citizen should stick to one platform, or should they invest in each popular platform? I don't. Popular platform is a bit subjective, but no. Don't apologize for the questions, man. They're good questions. I appreciate them. Insofar as prepared citizens and platforms, if you want to have more than one platform available to you, that's fine. You just need to make sure that you train on it and you have enough ammo and support for yourself for those platforms. You need to be insanely proficient with your platforms, whatever they may be. If you want a couple of fun guns, get a couple of fun guns. You know, it's whatever. My FAL is a fun gun, but it's also a rifle that I can rely on in a combat application. So for some reason, if I feel like I don't want to run my 5.56 going out on patrol that day, I can run my AK or I can run my FAL. Like, you know, and then I have a bolt gun too because I use it for hunting and stuff. But that's a precision platform too, which has applications of usefulness. So it just depends on what somebody wants and thinks is viable for them for application with those kinds of things, as much as how important it is to train with them and stuff. You know. Let's see. Hopefully that answered that. You know, it's user's choice. Just train with it and have ammo for it, and you know other maintenance needs and things for it. You know, be able to damn near be able to field strip and put it back together blindfolded, almost kind of thing. You know, like you sleep with the thing, like know it in and out. You know. As we did in the military. Next question. For vehicles and preparedness, do you think people overlook the transportation maintenance part of Teotihuacan? Absolutely. Especially when it comes to minimizing wear. You're going to do a video on it soon. Yeah. I've done a video on it in my Pace Plan series, which is my logistics and discussions playlist on my channel. But for my Pace Plan, which Pace is usually for communications, but the acronym applies absolutely for just planning, emergency and contingency planning. So one of those videos I did, I talk about vehicle logistics in a lot of ways, like have spare parts for your stuff, have fuses, have the fluids for your vehicle, have snatch, have a snatch rope, snatch block, chains, have a shovel to dig yourself out, like all that stuff. Like you need to have all that stuff for your vehicle. There is going to be an element of mobility reliance in part, especially if you're utilizing it for certain operations or using it to bug out or bug into a situation and to get to your contingency location. You're going to use a vehicle unless it's just not viable too, and you have to do it on foot or in a smaller, like an ATV or on cross-country skis or whatever. Vehicle is going to be applied. Even the military and with contracting, we are extremely vehicle reliant. So, you know, I was in a mechanized infantry unit, you know, contracting, we're using vehicles for our stuff. Most people use vehicles. They're going to be using vehicles as long as it's feasible to do so in whatever exigent situation it's going to be, to include disasters, natural disasters, or something like SHTF or Teotihuacan. Like vehicles are going to be used. So you absolutely need to be able to work on and maintain that vehicle, have things to take care of that vehicle, be able to change the oil and all that stuff, and just know your vehicle, or no general vehicle maintenance. I don't know if high schools even do like auto shop anymore. Back when I was in high school, there was auto shop. So I took it. I already knew about vehicles. My grandpa is a big gearhead, and he taught me a lot about cars. My very first car was a 91 Pontiac Grand Am Coupe. So it was the 2-door 5-speed manual. We replaced the clutch kit in it after I got in an accident with it. We fixed the frame. We replaced the radiator. Like we did all that stuff. So I know how to work on vehicles to a certain degree. So people don't need to be that in depth per se, but having people that have those skills in their mag, in their team of people, is absolutely essential to be able to be reliant on vehicles, but also to be successful for yourself. So that it's a huge thing that's overlooked. And I've talked about it before too. So I look forward to seeing your video on it too, man. So Oil is cheap, engines and transmissions are not. Exactly. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, cool. I'll check the DM later. I'm not in Discord right now. For those that don't know, if you're a Patreon subscriber to Trench Grenade, if you know Trench Grenade, he does talks with Risky Krisky and Last American Outlaw, called Nuke Our Parks. I am one of the moderators in his Discord channel. If there's people out there that are supporters of him and stuff, and you're in his Discord, I'm in there too. Yeah, I'll check it out later. Lost a little bit of viewership. That's okay though. That's okay. Any other questions? Come on, folks. Throw them on out there. Again, it doesn't have to be about technical stuff, even though that's a great. I love the conversation, so it's great to talk about. But anything else? Anything else? At least it hasn't dropped my video quality too bad. Bueller. About an hour 20 in now. That's not bad. Go for another at least 10 minutes. We'll see what happens. But yeah. Good stuff. Been some great questions between the community post and the questions here in the chat. They've been great questions, so thank you. Dream car that you would drive and not let sit in the garage. Last question. Hey, you can keep asking them, man. It's fine. I've always wanted the Bandit car, so the 1977 Trans Am. Love that car. I would not mind. I would also not mind like a 68 Camaro Z28 or like a 68 Chevelle SS. I was actually going to buy a 68 Chevelle SS back in high school. It was all gutted. It was turned into a dragster, so it wasn't really like road legal. But I was thinking about converting it back to being road legal, but nah, it just didn't work out. But no, as far as like dream car, and they had problems. They would leak oil and stuff, but 77 Trans Am, dude. It's just a sweet car. And black with the gold Phoenix on it and stuff. Like, yes, the Bandit car, dude. That was a sweat car. I love old muscle cars, so that's kind of my thing. Apart from like awesome like SUVs and stuff, like the late 80s like Land Rover, like late 80s Land Rovers and stuff, like with the Ranger seats in the back and stuff. Like those are sweet too. I really like those. You see them all over Africa still and stuff, and even in the Middle East a little bit and all that. But dream car would be a 77 Trans Am. And my mom's dream car is a 64 and a half or a 65 Mustang in the baby blue color, which I also think is a pretty sweet choice. I've been trying to find her one, but they're either in really bad shape and need a lot of work, which would be expensive, or they're in really nice shape and they're expensive. So it is what it is. But yeah, dude. Yeah, I love those. I love those old muscle cars. But it's got to be in black. It's got to be black. Same with the Chevelle, black Chevelle. Even a Camaro, it would have to be painted black. I'd probably murder it out too. Go with like matte flat black with black wheels and stuff. Like, yeah, powder coat black wheels and all that. Yeah, like it would be sick. Absolutely sick. It's a good question. Anybody else? Anyone else? Music, the arts, movies, shows, pop culture, geopolitics, whatever. Nothing is off the table. No other questions? No one? You got 7 viewers in. Welcome, new viewers. Go ahead and ask a question in the chat. Say hello, because hello. Oh, they left. Hello, bonjour. Guten Tag. Hola. Salam. Nothing? No other questions, huh? Any other points of discussion? Anything. Really anything. I mean, anybody. In case y'all can't tell, those are some giant stacks of CDs over here. I still collect CDs and cassette tape, and yeah, quite a few. Thoughts on the development of 15 minutes cities? Local chatter. I'm not sure what that is. Might be a different term about that I'm familiar with. I'm not sure what 15 minutes cities is. Let's see here. Urban planning concept in which most daily necessities and services such as work, shopping, education, healthcare, and leisure can all be easily reached by a 15-minute walk or bike ride from any point in the city. Oh, so this is general city engineering planning and things like that. I mean, that's a small town feel, right? Small town. So city I live in, fairly spread out, but there's an excellent series of bike paths and stuff all around the city. It's a very green city in the sense there's a lot of like trees and things like that. And things like that. So it is, whether you're walking or biking and stuff. I mean, it is fairly easy to get around. There are kind of like outlet malls and stuff, kind of all over the place. And then downtown has there's one part of downtown that is foot traffic only thoroughfare with a bunch of like local shops and stuff. And it's only a 10-minute drive or so, a 10-15 minute drive away. Things like that. I mean, city and urban planning is not an easy thing to do. It's a very complicated task. Playing certain games like SimCity or some of the other games out there, I think City Skylines is one, and there's some other ones too. Are actually kind of good because you can understand like what goes into both budget wise and otherwise, what goes into actually like designing and developing a town, village, city, whatever. I much prefer to kind of live out in the sticks or in a small town or have like easy access to a town or whatever. I want to move out of this city and buy some land. Yeah, within a maybe 45-minute drive to here, because the airport is really useful for me for work still and stuff. It's really nice being close to an airport for work, for me and all that, and major shopping thoroughfare and stuff. But I much prefer to live outside of cities, even though I've lived in them a long time now, bouncing around. I've lived in Milwaukee, I've lived in Chicago, I've lived in a number of cities over the years. after getting out of the military and stuff. So there's a lot that goes into city planning, though. There's a couple of right ways to do it, and there's obviously wrong ways to do it too. Without having to boost infrastructure and spend a lot more money doing. Look at Chicago. Train systems that barely work. They work but barely. And things like that. Like that's too much. I think smaller communities are where it's at. And having good quality mom and pop shops and boutiques and supporting local economy and local business is really important too. Much more a proponent for that. Hopefully that answers that a little bit. I mean, it's unfortunately that's not terribly my wheelhouse, just because I'm not an engineer or anything, but I kind of understand the grasp of it. But that's definitely something it's interesting to me. Something I'm not well versed in, though. Hopefully it answered it a little bit, though. At least from my perspective. So thank you. Two Alpha Solutions. Come to Virginia and do some collaboration videos. I'm planning to do one for the video contest. Which video contest? Jace, the modern Miniman. That cool. We'd rock it out. Yeah, dude. No, I know. I'm planning some trips. For next year. During the winter, travel for me is a lot more difficult. Driving's more hazardous. Not that I won't do it, but and I enjoy it, but flying and everything is just more difficult too. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Jared, Two Alpha Solutions, people go check out his training company and his channels. If you're kind of in that Virginia area or kind of relative around there, like, go train with him. Freaking, he's solid dude, and he's a good instructor. He knows what he's doing. Yeah, I want to come out there. So sometime probably, I would aim for maybe like late March or April. It's like early spring next year would probably be viable for me to come out there. Because as always, it's schedule, time, and money, right? Yeah, I would like to come out there for that thing, because I want to do a circuit. Like, I want to come out and visit you, and then hit a little bit of the lower East Coast and stuff, because I got other friends out there too I want to see. And then some of the peeps like in Florida, where one of my buddies I work part-time for as a consultant and analyst for his private investigation firm. He's in Florida. I work remotely for him, but I want to go see him, and then I want to come back around, go through like Louisiana, Mississippi, and then Texas, because I got buddies and family in Texas and stuff, and then go back up to where I am. Kind of just a big old loop around half the country is my plan, and then go see Randall Grumproof whenever he's back in the States, out in whichever place he's at, because I know he's got a couple. So probably the Sierras, which would be my first time being out there in that area. So yeah, dude, gotta come out and see you for sure. Get the training on. Yeah, speaking of, probably next week I'm gonna go on personal time, go to the range and do some shooting. Probably make a video. They finally, the local public DNR range near me just finally reopened their pistol bays, because they were closed for like 3 years because they didn't build them right in the first place, and then they closed them because they were putting in a new backstop or bullet catch system. A lot of people were shooting their rifle caliber pistols there, and it was chewing up again because of poor construction and planning in the first place. It was chewing up the backstop, the berm. So they had to fix it again. So it's finally open again now, though, so I can go there and shoot pistol. Problem with around my area, There are some good other outdoor ranges. I mean, you have to pay for the day or whatever. There's a couple of decent indoor ranges. The nicest range near me that has a known 1,280 yard known distance precision range on it. You have to be a member to use that range unless you're there for like a competition like USPSA or PRS or NRL or something. You have to be a member there or go on the one guest allowed per member day pass kind of thing. So I don't get to go out there that often because that's probably the nicest facility near me, outdoor facility. But the state DNR ranges are actually pretty nice. I just hate the benches, shitty benches. But other than that, they're good ranges, and I like shooting at them. So usually, if it's like at a range with benches, that's the ranges I'm at is a state public state run and maintained DNR Department of Natural Resources shooting range. And then like the shorts videos where I'm doing some movement and shooting, that's at my buddy's private range on his land, and it's a small little space, but you can do some movement and stuff in it. So it's good though. But range options are kind of interesting here. Much more if I'm farther north in the state, which is weird to me, but there's a couple of good ones around here for personal use and training. Security contracting wise training, we get to use the county law enforcement training facilities ranges, which are nice. So they got a pretty good SWAT team here and stuff. So I've trained with them before. Cool. Any other questions? Any other jokes, comments, topics, anything? Let's keep it going here for a little bit, at least an hour 45, maybe 2 if some good questions keep coming in. Keep them coming. Yeah, Hershey finding finding good ranges in a new area sucks. Yeah, I mean, Google's your friend, right? Apart from like word of mouth, go to your local gun store, like your good gun store, your like tactical or good gun store. Go to that and talk to people, see where they're going, and then of course networking with people if they got private land you can shoot on. Whatever it is. There's some options, but usually feedback from the locals is a good thing. Really, one more question? You don't have to ask anymore. You don't need to be exasperated about it. It's all right. But yeah, I mean, if anyone's got more questions, I mean, wants to talk about a topic, whatever, freaking lay it out there. The live stream for what it is going pretty well. Granted, there's only 4 of y'all in here right now, but that's okay. Whatever you got. Whatever you got. Looked at the radio pouch a little closer. We were talking about, I don't think it will work for that radio. Really? See, I thought it was for a 152 2 alpha, Jared. I thought it was for a 152. Interesting. I mean, you could message them about it, be like, "Hey, does this fit a 152?" Because I thought it was one of the things that it would work for, but if it doesn't, I would hit them up and see, just send them an email, and if they don't, if it doesn't or they don't, like, yeah, I could figure out how to make one for you. I can figure it out. Make a video on it. You don't think it'll fit right? Okay. I'll just have to look up the measurements of the radio, and I could probably make something for it. Yeah. Yeah, double check with them first and email them because it looks like a pretty solid radio pouch. So I would check with them first. Hershey, hot take: driving in the snow isn't as hard as people make it seem. Get good winter tires instead of running bald all seasons. 100%. Driving, yeah, driving in the snow. I mean, obviously, you want a vehicle that can handle it. You don't want a real small car with just front wheel drive. You don't, especially if the roads are not regularly plowed and maintained during winter. You want something with four wheel drive, right? Yeah, and you absolutely want good tires. General rule is usually about every 3 years you should be getting new tires before winter. You know, depending on how much you drive, sometimes it could be much more frequent. It just depends, but um, there's a lot of people that just, and there's people that have lived here their whole lives and they lose their goddamn mind every time the first snowfall hits. It's like, did you forget how to drive over the past 20 odd years? 30, 40, whatever? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, it's not hard. It's yeah, it's on people just as much as having a sound vehicle and good tires, absolutely. Um just drive defensively, right? Um yeah. I'm with you there. I'm with you there. Sasha Schlindwein. How about them recent UFO sightings out in Mexico? So, the unveiling the aliens thing, man. I don't know because apparently somebody was saying that they're just like a literally like a novelty paper mache kit that you can get. So I don't know the validity to it. I don't know, but do I think that aliens exist? Absolutely. We are absolutely stupid if there's no other form of life out there. To think that there's no other form of life out there. There's absolutely other life forms out there. It's just not only statistical fact, but it's just the universe is infinite. There's no way there isn't something else out there. But as far as the Mexico thing goes, I don't I don't know. It's I mean, there needs to be some real hardcore verification of that more than them just coming out and saying, we have these quote unquote mummified aliens. Mexico's got enough problems that they have to deal with that they aren't dealing with right now to think that that was a smart time to do that kind of PR release, but also just a strange time for them to do it at all because I don't know. I don't I don't think there's I, again, it needs more verification. It needs more verification. Hershey, same thing in Michigan, man. It blows my mind. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like, how do you not know how to drive if you've lived here either all of or more than 2 years of your life, right? Like, you should be able to adapt and just have a common sense mind about things. That's make sure all your lights are good. Make sure you got good wipers. Make sure your tires are good. Make sure just and don't drive like an idiot. Don't think that you can drive like it's the Indy 500, when there's a freaking blizzard out or there's, 2 feet of snow on the ground with moderate maintenance of the roads. Like my city, They don't use salt a lot. They use sand and they use a little bit of cheese brine, basically a salinated brine for the roads. But they use sand in my city. So salt. Besides when they do the spraying with the brine, which is only good down to, I think, minus 5, -10 Fahrenheit at best. Rest of the time they use sand here. And this is a far north Midwest state in city. So, that makes it even worse because then people really don't know how to handle the conditions when there's a lot of when the roads are real slick. So hour 45, going pretty good. Anybody else got any questions? Anything? Comments? How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? As much wood as a woodchuck could chuck if it could chuck wood. Nothing? No one else? Comments? A joke? $15.9 NOYFB. I was in Air Force, so I don't. Is that in reference to a certain air wing somewhere? Like, is that like Airlift Command or what is that? I'm not sure what that is. Scandi. I don't pay that much attention to Air Force stuff. I do look at like flights sometimes and the NOTAMs and stuff, but I don't. I'm not sure which squadron that is. Anyone else? Anyone? Questions, comments, a joke, any topic. Nothing? All right. Well, 3 minutes to an hour and 50. Well, 2 minutes to an hour 50 now. I think if there's not much else, I'll probably call it at the hour 50 mark. So 2 minutes. Anyone has any final questions? Anything? Comments, discussion points, anything? Lay them out. And then I'll call it there. So. A joke. Conventional oil. Yeah. More of an oxymoron, right? Although I have to say, it is a, I guess, a platitude or whatever semantic. Some of the high mileage synthetics that are out there right now are fucking solid. Because my truck's got just about 250,000 miles on it, and it's a reliable vehicle. I am going to run it to 1,000,000 miles, as long as she holds together. As long as she holds together, I'm gonna run it because it's just been dead nuts reliable. But put good put good oil in it. That's a good joke though. It's good. All right, about a minute left. Anybody else got anything? Questions, concerns, comments? Nothing. Bueller. Hershey question. Do you think that Congress needs to bring back naval yards as well, fall behind on ship production? I mean, we have naval yards. A buddy of mine's a contractor down in Norfolk. Uh, do we need more naval yards? Possibly. And then there's a major shipbuilder company in my state that has a contract for the Navy that builds ships. I would like to see a modernized battleship for one. I'm a battleship fanboy. Love battleships. I want to see what a modernized battleship would look like. Obviously, it would have a buttload of missiles and that on it, and a number of like Sea Whizzes and you know, 6-8 inch deck guns and all that. But like, it'd probably have like a couple of like 155 with Excalibur guided munitions, cannons on it instead of the giant impractical Volkswagen Beetle 16-inch guns. But I would like to see a modernized battleship group come to fruition. That would be really sick. Because that would be a hell of an offensive and defensive support platform and battle group to have in a modern application, especially with old programs and new programs fighting for dry docks. Yeah. So for that, no, absolutely, I agree. We do need a couple more. We need to maintain the dry docks and shipyards, and where viable, have another one or two. For ship maintenance and stuff. Kind of makes me sad because some of the decommissioned ships, like, they would be pretty cool for private persons and other entities to buy and use for maritime security purposes and otherwise. That would be cool. There was an old steel hull Coast Guard cutter that was one of their dive ships that was for sale over in Washington State on the West Coast. And it was going for like $160,000. But you got to remember, crew, maintenance, the cost of fuel just to fill those fuel tanks alone has got to be over $1 million, right? Just for one go. So I do agree though with the docks and stuff. We do need to keep and maintain and possibly open one or two more just to make sure that we have that capability for our fleet. Scandi. They're the guys in Nevada that the thing. I've never worked an OGA contract or anything for doing that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I'm not familiar with those air wings, but good to know. Good to know. Hershey, Virginia class nuclear subs is falling very far behind, and we are falling behind on maintenance of the remaining Nimitz class carriers. Yeah, we are. I mean, it takes a long time. Now, I mean, we're replacing those carriers, but I mean, you're seeing how long it takes just to build one of the new ones. And we're still building the subs, but there's only two shipyards that build nuclear submarines for the U.S. and for coalition contracts. So, shout out to USS Texas being fixed up. Yeah, USS Texas, good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. So yeah, no, we do need a couple more. I agree. So, but all right. Well, okay, 6 minutes to 2 hours. We'll go to 2 hours. A couple more minutes. Well, only a couple more minutes. Whatever. That was some good. That was some good stuff right there. Scandi Hershey, all that. Oh booty. Oh booty. Yeah. Yeah, because like yeah, my buddy works on some of the same stuff he was an operator for in the Navy now as a contractor doing maintenance and stuff on, which is pretty cool. Electronic warfare stuff, you know. I think some weapon platform stuff too, but it's yeah, it's cool stuff. If I wouldn't have joined the army, it's very possible I would have joined the Navy. I grew up like sailing and being on boats and stuff. Um, and again, I thought battleships are cool, but they weren't a thing by the time I was old enough to join the military. So, but I had a lot of family in the army too, and I always loved the stories about paratroopers, rangers, green berets, and all that, and the storied history with infantry. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. But I don't think I could crew on a submarine though. That's I mean, well, maybe I could, but no. I mean, you got to be a special type of person up there to be stuck in a submarine. Pretty wild. Yeah, dude. USS Texas. It's good stuff. All right. Well, oh, okie dokie. Well, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, something like that. I'm just gonna let it run till it hits the 2 minute mark, and we'll finish her out. If you were to excuse me, Hershey, if you were to modernize a battleship, would you want it to stay and defend our shores? It'd be nice to have a sword and lance type approach. Battleships at home, cruisers with longer range missiles. Um, I think it could fill both roles as a shield and a spear. Um, I mean, you think about it. You think how big a ship like that is, and just the capacity more than a cruiser or a frigate for missiles and stuff, and other weapons capabilities. Um, Drone launching, and I mean, there's plenty of real estate there. You could also have a small platform on it for helicopters or even the F-35 VTOL variant. Like it could have a couple of those. Like that would be a very versatile ship to modernize one. It would be really cool, really cool. I think it would fill both roles very well, though. To Alpha Jared, I thought I was going to do all kinds of cool stuff in the Navy. Well, I did, but not anything like I thought I would. Yeah, no, I don't. Right. I mean, majority of the Navy is you're working a job, right? You're just working on a ship, or well, in your case, you were green side a lot, but and you got to go do some cool stuff, very unique stuff, which was awesome. Um, but I mean, yeah, like my buddy Ted and other friends I have in the Navy. I mean, yeah, you just you do your job. Um, Apart from opportunities where you might get to do some really cool stuff, um, like you did, or EOD or some kind of expeditionary deployment or whatever. Like there's cool stuff at times that you can do. A lot of the rest of the time, just mundane work stuff. Second, the shout out, Battleship Texas, tons of progress and restoration. Yeah, it's beautiful, and I follow the Battleship New Jersey channel too, and they're just going in a dry dock right now too. So yeah, I've toured Battleship Texas before, USS Texas. I did a tour many years ago when I was younger. That was really cool. All right, well, cool. About 30 seconds to 2 hour mark. So we're going to round it out here. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in for my first ever live stream on my channel, as well as for Q&A number 9 for the month of September. Really good questions, good conversations. I appreciated it. And thanks, everyone. Gangsterling, Texas. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And yeah, this was fun. So I'll be doing this again from now on as far as the monthly Q&As go. So again, thank you. And remember, metal up. Go listen to some metal. It's good stuff out there. Out.